wines. So we are here today to explore all about that process and to talk to the founders of this amazing place. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and also hit us a like and leave your comments below. Paul for joining me today.
My pleasure.
It's a beautiful place here up on Mount Nathan Winery, and you just introduced me to some of the very exciting originals that you all produce here. So would you like to talk me through a little bit about these wines that are here, the specialities?
So this is a honey fortified wine. It's 20% in alcohol. It is a traditional dessert wine. So it is served after dining or pre-dining to start off the digestive system. Being 20% in alcohol, it's in a slightly smaller bottle to make sure that people don't overindulge too much.
Okay, yep. And maybe this one, that was looking really exciting because I could see gold in it.
96% pure 23 carat drinking gold.
Wow, okay.
This is a semi-dry product. It is made from a honey wine base.
Okay.
So it will resemble a spirit in taste due to that slightly drier nature. And of course you are drinking certifiable 96% pure 23 carat drinking gold.
Wow, okay.
So if you do drink the entire bottle, your internal value will be skyrocketing.
Very high, yes. So I just read on your website as well, this was something that your great-grandfather introduced?
Grandfather introduced based off the recipes trying to figure out from his grandfather.
Great. And is this wine special to only your winery here?
To our knowledge, we're the only known honey wine makers of our own specific style of self-based fermentation and honey-based fortification.
Wow. Yeah.
Of course, if there are others, more than happy to be corrected.
Yes. And so in this particular winery, does every process happen in-house?
Yes and no. All of our honey wine processes take place inside, in-house. All of grape-based fermentation takes place at the family vineyard. Unfortunately, it's very hard to move grapes 2, 3, 4 hours away or greater than while retaining the integrity of the grape.
Great. And so your family vineyard is here in Queensland? Oh, great. It was very exciting to see that you have all these trees that are dedicated for the bees to come and for the entire process of honey making. Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
They're a rapidly growing tree called the Polonia tree. They blossom around late winter, early spring. So if you do come out in a few more weeks' time, most if not all of the trees should be blossoming with a beautiful, almost blossom style flower.
Yeah.
And produce a fair amount of honey, but mostly around that winter, late springtime.
Right. And is it like, does this honey change from like, are there different kinds of tastes to it?
All flowers produce a different pollen. All pollens produce a different style or flavour of honey.
Yeah.
So the Polonia honey is a very light, softer honey compared to, you say, ironbarks or to a lesser extent your macadamia style honeys.
Yeah. That's great. Thanks, Paul. That was a really great discussion, and just loved seeing all these specialized, unique, original wines that you have here. So thanks for joining me today.
Thank you very much.
That's Peter Gibson. Peter, thanks so much for joining me
You're welcome.
for a very brief chat. And I just had a tour of this place and also the wine tasting, and it's so spectacular and it's so amazing how you have developed your originals here. So that's amazing, and just love hearing those stories as well. So my first question is, I read on your website that you migrated here in the 1850s.
Correct.
And that you established this winery here. Do you like to share something about it, a story, and how that process happened?
Well, essentially, the Gibson family originated in Norfolk in England, and in 1852, Robert Gibson Jr. and Jane Gibson emigrated to Australia with 2 children. From that point, they went into Adelaide, and before that, John Gibson had developed a honey beverage. So when the children grew up, one of them moved to, which is George Horatio, my great-grandfather, moved to Newcastle. He became the mayor of Newcastle.
Wow, that's great, and that's a really interesting story. And what is it about finding a perfect place for a winery?
Well, certainly you can't argue with Cessnock. From that point of view and how it was established is quite interesting. Moving forward a bit to my father and his brothers, they certainly became interested, my father in particular, in winemaking, and certainly 2 of the brothers in beer making.
Wow.
And both of them were working from a point of view of developing type of a craft industry for beer, and my father developing the winemaking process. My first remembrance, you could say, of being actively participating in doing winemaking was assisting my father when I was 12. So my major job was riddling what we call bubbles now, but it's actually method champenois.
Right, yeah.
Which we're not allowed to say, but it is. So it's, the grapes came from the Champagne area originally. And so my job was to turn the bottles, that's called riddling, in order to get the dead yeast down to the neck, so you could freeze it.
Did you enjoy doing it much?
It certainly taught me how to spin bowl at cricket, because I could bowl both directions with both hands, because I was so used to it. So I must admit that was quite interesting.
Yeah.
And then from there I started to learn the dosage, and then working with my father in creating the whole process of developing that sparkling facility. So
wow, that's really interesting. And so as a 12-year-old, did you envision yourself being in this winemaking industry in the long run?
You never do, and you never don't. The one thing that our family has always prided themselves, and in fact to my family, is that don't look upon this as a profession. Look upon what you like and what is your gifts.
I think that's a great advice, Peter, because I think some of the generations look at work as a profession instead of looking it as a passion. So just what you said right now is just really emphasizing on the fact that you need to look at everything with the experience and the passion that you have for it.
Yes.
I think that's great. And I also read about the award-winning honey fortified wine that you make here. Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, well, essentially what happened was that when we were looking at pioneering the honey, the most important ingredient is the bees. And you need to go to the place where the bees are going to give you consistency. And certainly one of the things we were looking at was where we were at, it wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Therefore, we had to, in order to expand, we had to find a better area. And certainly the area from northern New South Wales up to Sunny Coast is renowned for honey, especially on the coastal areas. So we actually found this area here in terms of what we were looking for, and the fact that there was a plantation already established on the property made it a lot easier to choose, because the Paulownia trees, they do come out, they produce a beautiful honey, and it also we're on the edge of a rainforest and a natural state forest, Narang State Forest. So from that point of view, we weren't going to get built out, and therefore we could guarantee a future supply of honey, and that's what we look for. And we've found by actually putting it on the property and sharing it around the various areas locally, it produces what we wanted to do, and it's producing it in more abundance than we ever had before.
Wow, that's really interesting, and it's so unique just to listen to the story as well, how it's being produced. And well, I certainly don't like to wear much of gold, but I'd love to look at that gold wine that you produce here, the 23 carat gold leaf. That's really interesting, how a gold leaf can go into a wine. Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Well, it was a passion of my father, actually, that what he wanted to do was to achieve a situation whereby gold is a higher density than wine. So normally if you invert it and the gold flows, it will flow back to the bottom very quickly. So he wanted to, as it were, hold the gold in terms of suspending it for a certain period of time. And he worked off and on for many, many years doing that.
Wow, that's really interesting. Thanks so much, Peter, and it's been a pleasure talking to you and just listening to these processes as well. And also, as your goal of this place is to make everyone passionate about wine, as you are, it definitely happens, I think, because the moment I entered this place and when I saw the unique wines that you offer, it's just making me more passionate towards this wines and the winemaking industry. So thank you very much, and I wish you all the very best for your future, prospering future here.
Thank you very much, and look forward to eventually after COVID getting various people from all over the world to come here as they did before. And it's always good to educate people. So one of the things we try to do, which sets us apart a bit, is you've got the family who are doing the wine tasting, so the passion and the history can flow to the people that are tasting the wine.
Exactly.
So we always work on the idea that if people leave with more information than when they come in, then we've achieved what we wanted to.
Definitely, and I'm sure the COVID situation will be ending soon, and all our viewers can definitely come here over to the Mount Nathan Winery and experience the best.
Yes, and enjoy the hinterland of the Gold Coast as well.
Definitely. Thanks, Peter.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed our video today here at Mount Nathan Winery. It was a spectacular experience, and just looking at these unique wines makes it all the more special, and talking to the founders, it was such a great experience. So stay tuned for our next episode, and we will bring to you a wonderful experience or a place. Don't forget to subscribe, hit us a like, and leave your comments below. See you next time.